we're here to have a wild wake up Wednesday. Sorry we're gone, but we're here to make it up to you this morning with a rapid fire roundup of some of the stories that we've missed last week before getting into this week's stories and our updates. So rapid fire roundup, Hunter.
So the first story I have for you guys that we missed last week was Sean Combs, also known as P. Diddy, had his house raided by the FBI as part of a sex trafficking investigation.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
Oh, he did it. Like, you know what they say. If the feds are on you, they've already got everything they need on you. Because it was Homeland Security that did it.
Yeah?
Imagine being his lawyers right now.
Lots of Epstein comparisons right there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Diddy.
No. Yeah, I'm just saying, 50 Cent over here looking real happy, I'm sure.
What's our next rapid fire story?
So, this one's a little bit more somber. This one hits close to home for us.
Literally close to home.
The Baltimore Key Bridge collapsed after a cargo ship, hit it. And 6 construction workers were on the bridge still when this happened.
Not just 6 construction workers, but there were also several cars on the bridge when it collapsed.
Yeah.
That all went tumbling into the river.
Where it was like 42 degrees Fahrenheit.
This was at what, 1 in the morning?
Yeah, 1:30 in the morning. The ship was able to get to the police officers and let them know that they were having issues. So the police were trying to close the bridge. So like that's everyone's conspiracy. It was like, oh, why was it so empty? It's never this empty. I was like, because they knew something like.
Yeah, there was the ship lost power.
Yeah.
On like 2 separate occasions, and they couldn't steer it anymore, and it sort of just drifted into the support beam for the bridge, taking it down. Yeah,
they were able to get the SOS out in between things, but unfortunately they weren't able to get people off in time, and now we have a tragedy.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate what happened there. The bridge was built in the 70s.
So it's a pretty new bridge.
It's a pretty old bridge.
Pretty new bridge.
Pretty old bridge.
It's new for a bridge.
Is it?
Yeah,
if it's new for a bridge, and that's really sad.
We have. I don't think it's an old bridge.
It's kind of an old bridge. It's over 50 years old. I think that's ancient in bridge time. So it probably needed some updates anyway, and there are plans to rebuild the bridge and restore it. So hopefully that process starts soon. The Key Bridge was one of the few ways to cross the bay.
Yeah.
Without going directly through Baltimore. It's a big chunk of I-695.
Oh, it's a huge chunk of I-695, yeah.
Yeah. Which just makes one big loop around the city of Baltimore. So it's going to mess up traffic patterns for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it is believed that bridges are expected to function for 50 to 70 years. However, that's not the case. Currently, 42% of the year are at least 50 years. Yeah, when 40% of our bridges are at least 50 years old, I think the average age. It's a pretty young bridge for 70. It's a 70. It was a good bridge, but
wasn't that good of a bridge apparently.
That's dark.
No, it's realistic.
It's a little.
Bridges that would have been built today would have had more protections.
They would have had more trusses, yeah.
So any future bridges are going to have that sort of precaution in line, and I think any new bridge that's built around the country is going to have that sort of precaution.
Yeah, I can see this having a lot of
ripple effects,
impacts on it. I know that there is already federal agencies. I can't remember which one it is right now off the top of my head, but they're going to take like I think they said 18 to 24 months to do a full report. And if anything happens where it's like needs to happen right away, like any changes that need to happen because of the investigation, those will get implemented right away, but we won't know the full report until it's done. But this bridge is at least going to take, like, it's going to take years for this bridge to be rebuilt. They are finally getting cranes. They're getting the largest cranes on the East Coast over to get the things off the.
Already there, yeah.
Yeah, they as of today, but they're finally like able to move some because the boat's still there, all the cargo is still there. So, and hopefully they said that this shouldn't impact too much importing and exporting because the Baltimore Harbor is a big part of commerce and trade. So this is like devastating for a lot of reasons, but those 6 construction workers and all those families and those cars, our hearts go out to them.
Absolutely. Another story from last week. The UN passes a ceasefire resolution to end the war in Gaza. There were multiple attempts before this to pass a peacefire resolution. All of those were blocked before. So the United States blocked one of them. I believe Russia and China each blocked one of them. So like we were blocking other countries' resolutions. Russia and China were blocking ours because the language wasn't right. So other countries would say, "Oh, America, you're not putting this in there," and we were saying, "Oh, you guys weren't condemning Hamas enough in yours." So this was the first one that passed. Now the U.S. did not vote for the ceasefire resolution.
Of course not.
We abstained.
Which is the best that I could expect from the United States.
We abstained from the vote, and it passed. Now, the UN doesn't have any teeth. All it can really do is point fingers and give Israel a stern talking to.
So it's a step parent?
There's no force there behind the UN. There's no, okay, we're going to put sanctions on this country. No, we're going to put a peacekeeping force together and put them into this country. There's no built-in mechanisms like that within the UN. So I hope that something does happen. I think that if we're going to be sending arms into Israel, they should at least, come with a peacekeeping force. But that would mean, the U.S. actually being a force for peace in the world and not just whatever we are now. So it is a good thing that this happened.
Yes, great thing.
Yes. I wish that it had more of an impact.
I think it's more so of, hey, we're on the right side of history. Like a little preemptive of trying to be on the right side of history here from the U.S.
Too late.
100%. But
definitely more about what's going on in Gaza later in the show.
Oh, yes, we have a lot.
A lot.
So everyone's favorite female vice president of the United States.
The only one we've ever had.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone's favorite.
By default.
That's why I phrased it the way I did. I want to be like female vice president of the United States. Visited Puerto Rico. And if you guys remember our DC Puerto Rico statehood conversation,
go watch that episode or listen to it.
Yes. You might remember that the Puerto Ricans cannot vote for the presidency, which means that this is a publicity stunt on Kamala Harris's front. But she visited, and prior to her even showing up, all the U.S. flags that were flown on Puerto Rico were being taken down.
Even in like government buildings?
Yeah, in government, like the activists were doing this.
Oh, oh god.
Yeah, no, not the.
This was like a whole protest.
Yes, this was a protest. They were removing the U.S. flag and putting up Haitian flags, BLM flags, and the Palestinian flags.
Not even Puerto Rican flags.
Well, Puerto Rican flags were already up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because when what you'll see is you will always see the Puerto Rican flag and the American flag, similar to how you see the state flag and the United States flag around. I'm assuming other states do that too, not just Maryland, because we have a really cool flag.
Our flag's pretty medieval, so.
Well, jousting is our state sport.
Fun facts.
Yeah, fun Maryland facts for you folks. But yeah, so that's one of the things that they did. And while she was visiting, like actually physically there, she was getting sung at in Spanish, and it's basically asking she was clapping along, enjoying, doing what people who don't speak Spanish do, until it got translated to her. And she still had her smile on. She's a good politician. She knows how to smile through controversies. But they were basically asking her, how do you feel about this country or colony? They used the word colony. And what do you feel about what's the name? They basically wanted her to talk about the board that basically runs Puerto Rico's finances. They are appointed by the U.S. government, and they basically run the finances of Puerto Rico and determine how the state, in the loose sense I said that, runs its money through Puerto Rico. And basically they have been cutting back on services that they need. This board isn't thinking about Puerto Ricans' best interests at mind. At the end of the day, they're thinking about the United States whole as a mind, but not Puerto Ricans. And so they're asking her, hey, what do you think about this colony? Why aren't you speaking on this? What happened to all these promises you gave us during your political run that have not been filled? Puerto Ricans are asking what the rest of America is asking. Where are you, Joe?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to
sorry,
there.
Got really passionate for them.
Makes you wonder what they're doing there. So that's it for our rapid fire roundup. There was a lot of stories that happened last week, I'm sure, but we had to pick a couple of them, and some of them might still be relevant for this week.
Some of them we chose because we were going to talk about it last week before one of us got sick and couldn't record.
Yeah, threw off the groove.
You threw me off the groove.
Thanks a lot, Danny. So my first story for the night is going to be about Oregon and California.
That's a weird combination of states.
Why? They're right next to each other.
Yeah, but you just, when you think of Oregon, you don't think California.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just me.
I think West Coast. Just throw Washington in there, West Coast. So 3 states in the West Coast.
That's true. But California's 3 states in one.
Yeah. But still.
Anyway,
so these states are turning back the clock on their decriminalization of drugs from a few years back. So these states made laws that decriminalized drugs. They didn't make it legal, but they made them decriminalized. So that means that it wasn't a crime, not like a serious crime, to have drugs on your person. And it was meant to sort of clean up the criminal justice system a little bit, end the drug war that's been going on for decades and decades and decades.
You can't have a war on an intangible item.
Like terrorism?
Like terrorism or drugs. That was a commentary on. I mean, I guess we can reference him again. Thanks, Ronald Reagan.
So, these laws made it so that drug users were given non-punitive support and that states would focus on rehabilitation. So this heel-face turn comes after what is described as a wave of homelessness, drug use, and a fear of fentanyl.
Okay.
Oregon overdoses have increased over 500% in Portland since 2018, and overdoses have shot up in San Francisco too. There is backlash against these changes, though. People are saying, oh, well, let's just go back to the system that already wasn't working for us before.
Yeah, I have a lot of problems with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think decriminalizing actually works if you put in systems to help the decriminalizing system. first of all, like, were there clean injection sites? Were there how functional are these rehabs? How affordable are these rehabs? Because, yes, it's expensive to have a drug problem, but you know what's more expensive? Trying to get clean from a drug problem. Mm-hmm. Like, rehab is not cheap. We know a few people who've gotten through rehab.
Right.
Yes, they did. They did step 1 on fixing drug usage, but that's where they stopped. They thought, oh, we're gonna decriminalize it. That's it. But where were you putting more money into your social workers? Were you looking into clean injection sites? And yes, I'm very pro clean injection sites. Do you know what those are, out of curiosity, before I go on a tangent? Okay.
But our audience might not.
That's true. That is true. So the idea is having a place where not only can you get your drugs tested to, like, because fentanyl is a big issue, but also be able to use your drugs in a facility, because there's never been a fatal overdose in these facilities. And I use the word fatal overdose because, the reason to go to one of these is if you do overdose, there are professionals there to help you. There are nurses, there are doctors. They can give you Narcan, they can revive you, they can save your life. And this is like why I'm very pro safe injection sites. I'm not saying that I'm pro people using drugs. I've seen devastations of lives from drug use, but clean injection sites offer also a window or a door for someone to try and get clean, because not only do they now realize these people who have seen me shoot up X amount of times are still here, still supporting me, and they're not turning their backs on me. Like, let me talk to them about getting clean, because sometimes, as much as family can be there for someone, family can't be the only support system you have, first of all, but like, it feels different. Like, a stranger helping you out is you feel a little bit easier asking for help from them, because they haven't seen you like at your worst, like your family might have had. So even if people are wanting to get clean, they're afraid to ask for help. And I think the drug problem in the United States could use so many so many things to help it fix it, but criminalizing people isn't the way to go, is my point. I don't know. I'm getting a bit emotional, so I'm trying not to get like.
This might be one of those topics that deserves a deep dive, whatever is episode, sometime soon.
I think it does, and
we'll put that on the list.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I feel like we could really dig deeper into this, go into the statistics behind drug use and how much of the state's money was going towards these different programs and facilities, and doing more research than we were able to do for this story, because this is just a news story for the week. But yeah, important stuff.
We also didn't expect for me to get this heated on.
No? So what's your first story, since you half took over mine? Mostly took over mine.
Sorry.
You're like 80% of the talking.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You see, no, this is it's a silly little story about AT&T. Not silly. So if you were an AT&T user from 2019 or earlier, you might want to check your credit and be on top of it. They had a data breach over the weekend where their people's social security numbers, addresses, birthdays, and passwords were leaked. It does not look like anything phone wise, like your who you're calling, how long, text messages, things like that was leaked. But the important stuff, like your social security number and your birthday and your address, which is all you need to take out stuff, and it is now on the dark web. Yeah, so that is my story.
Yeah. Moving on.
Because there's nothing to comment on that.
So these kinds of leaks with our data happen not all the time, but they're common enough that they don't feel impactful anymore.
I think that's a conversation of we need to talk about data and data security.
Yeah, that's very fair. I almost feel numb to it at this point. It's like, yep, okay, Some people in the dark web have my data. Again, not the first time, won't be the last. How many times do they need my name, phone number, and email address for their bot calls and their spam emails, you know?
Yeah, but those people who have good credit or like can easily take out hundreds of thousands of dollars of loans, there's a story where a lady bought a car from someone who bought a car from CarMax with a stolen identity, and now she is out the money of her car and has no car.
It's rough.
Yeah, and she's not even the one who did any of the wrong things. She did everything she was supposed to. Checked the VIN, checked everything, but now no car. So that's why another reason to be like wary of people stealing other people's identity.
Identity fraud is a very serious thing. It's like an Office meme.
Yes, it's an Office meme.
Never seen The Office. Yell at me in the comments. All right.
Please do.
Do you have anything else to add?
No, it's just a data breach. I hate saying it like that. It just feels like
it's not like, California and Oregon, and their drug recriminalization story.
Yeah.
So my second story is that a lower court in South Carolina is allowing a congressional district that was determined to be racially gerrymandered by cutting out thousands of black voters. They're allowing this district to be used in the 2024 election cycle. The Supreme Court was supposed to take up the case and look at it and make a decision on it. They took too long. So now the district gets to be used by the state in the election.
But I thought that they said it was unconstitutional. I thought they had maybe the state, but when you say the Supreme Court, do you mean the Supreme Court of the United States or the Supreme Court of South Carolina?
The Supreme Court of the United States.
Okay. Because I know it went to the Supreme Court of South Carolina. I think they ruled it unconstitutional. Or was it Georgia?
I don't know nothing about Georgia. I just know about South Carolina here. And this is what the article said.
No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just confused because I thought this was already settled.
Right. So the Supreme Court has delayed resolving. This is an NBC News article here. Has delayed resolving a South Carolina redistricting case for so long that a lower court has been forced to step in. So this district has already previously been ruled as a racially gerrymandered district.
Okay, so it had been settled, and now people are arguing again.
Yes,
okay.
It got bumped up to the Supreme Court to decide, whether or not it could be usable, which I don't know why this is even a discussion, because if it's racially gerrymandered, they should just throw it out.
There was a case with Georgia. And they were,
Gotcha.
So I knew I wasn't making something up in my head. This was already decided. It was a different southern state. Shocker. At least it wasn't Alabama.
The armpit of America.
Any chance we can.
Every chance. Alabamans are going to hate me. All right. Yes. So expect this district to matter. This is in the Charleston, South Carolina area.
Ooh, that is.
Not that South Carolina is ever going to be a purple state by any means. It's always solidly red. But, you know how the South is about disenfranchising their black voters.
Been doing it for they've perfected the art of it.
They really have, and it's unfortunate and kind of scary. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on in South Carolina. Naturally, we here at Whatever Is Left think that if there's a racially gerrymandered district, that you should redraw the districts to make sure that everyone has a chance to be represented faithfully.
I just checked. I was like, South Carolina is never a battleground state.
No. You thought I was lying to you?
No, because I remember we looked at it before. I wanted to know. I knew it was solidly.
North Carolina is kind of a purple state.
North Carolina is a battleground state.
Not South Carolina.
No. Florida, Georgia. This is 2020 battleground states. So Florida, Georgia, which we won. We made that blue.
Danny just said we, but I would like to clarify that we aren't Democrats here.
No, I meant like the royal we.
We don't support the Democratic or Republican parties.
Virginia is a battleground. I think PA is too. Yeah. Not West Virginia or Maryland.
We don't support politicians who don't support us.
Texas is a battleground.
Anyway.
Oh, Arizona. But we flipped Arizona last year.
You said we again.
I know. It makes it easy for the context. We're leftists.
We're not represented by the Democrats.
And some more on drugs. Some more information about drugs. So Pharma Bro, aka Martin Shkreli.
Wow.
I had his name earlier.
Shkreli,
yeah. Is tried and failed to appeal his former lifetime ban from the pharmaceutical industry. So, in case you don't know who Martin is, he is known for buying a patent of a drug, a life-saving drug. I believe it was HIV. And what used to be $13.50 for the pills, overnight turned to $750 for a life-saving drug.
Yep.
So he got convicted of
securities fraud.
Securities, and I think it was
conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and he got his penalty was 7 years in prison. He was paroled after 6 years and 5 months, and he had to pay $72 million in fines.
But he tried to appeal, trying to get back into the pharmaceutical game. And his only regret in a live interview, he said, was not raising the prices more because he could have done it.
What a dick.
Yeah. And
fuck this guy.
And the thing is, he said something that we resonate with here at Whatever Is Left, but we're on the opposite side of him. Like,
what?
He said, this is what capitalism does. This is what capitalists do. We raise the prices so our stakeholders can make money. He said the quiet part out loud.
He did say the quiet part out loud.
Unrecorded. It's on record.
Ladies and gentlemen, and, distinguished audience members, this is a capitalist, a real piece of shit, being very upfront about who he is, who they are, and the kind of things they do and why they do them.
Yeah. He was very honest and very upfront with it. He's like, no one likes to admit it. No one likes to talk about it. No, we actively admit it and we actively talk about it. We don't like it. We're trying to change the system.
Some real sociopathic vibes.
Oh, 100%. This guy is
zero empathy kind of person.
He was smiling when he said it. He's like, I wish I raised it more. Yeah. But now you understand what I said. Like he said something that we both agree with, but not on the same side.
We're gonna pause the episode. I'm gonna go out into your backyard and start building a guillotine.
Okay. Maybe not my backyard. I'm too close to a school. It's a little weird at that point.
Fair enough. Find someone else's backyard.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely not okay. Send him back to jail.
I'm sure.
Back to jail.
I'm sure he'll go into a different industry, pull some shit again, and go back to jail.
Please.
But now
he's got a punchable face too.
He does. He has like one of the most punchable faces.
So smarmy.
That is exactly what he is.
We hate this guy.
Now you knew what. Now you know why I wanted this to be one of my stories. It's like, I hate it here.
This is the worst timeline.
We live in the worst timeline. Ugh.
Okay.
I can imagine.
I don't know if I have a fun story today. It's all right.
Wait, I thought. Yeah, go ahead. I was reading your story and I was like, wait a minute.
So, RFK Jr.
Yes.
As we all know, running for president, not affiliated with either party at the moment, independent run, has announced his vice presidential running mate as a Nicole Shanahan. Shanahan is a San Francisco entrepreneur and attorney. Ooh. She has pretty cookie-cutter liberal views, minus the whole vaccine skepticism thing.
No. No.
Just like with RFK Jr.
I forgot that RFK. Wait, is he anti-vax or is he just vax questioning?
You guys can look that up independently and make up your own decisions about that. But yeah. But other than that, pretty on the liberal side. I'd say she's a little bit farther to the left than RFK Jr. is.
Well, that's not that hard, right?
No.
Can we call her the AI generated female liberal?
No, because the vaccine skepticism thing. But she is very independently wealthy.
Very independently wealthy?
Yes. So she's 38 years old.
Okay.
She'd be the youngest VP in history.
We love that. The bar is in hell.
The bar is in hell. She is already a donor, one of the big donors to RFK Jr. and his super PAC.
He has a super.
That Super Bowl ad that
I
put out for him?
Did not see it.
Gotcha. It was like a callback.
Oh, the one that he used. Yeah. I didn't watch it. I just referenced it.
He didn't design that. His super PAC did, and they paid for it, and they put it up there. He says he wasn't involved with that whatsoever.
Because they used a lot of his dad's stuff, right?
Yeah. Or his dad or his uncles. I don't remember exactly.
I know someone explained it to us, and it
was an old Kennedy ad. But she was the one who paid for that.
Ew.
So RFK Jr. has an uphill battle to get ballot access in every state. This involves a process of going around, getting lots and lots of signatures, getting your name out there, filing a bunch of paperwork, putting down thousands of dollars in fees to, just get your name on the ballot. And this is an easy way for RFK Jr. to be able to do that. So there are limitations as to what Nicole Shanahan would be able to do for RFK Jr. if she was only donating to him, his campaign, and his super PAC. If she is his running mate, she can put an unlimited amount of her own money into her campaign.
Ew. Also, he's 70.
Okay, he's younger than the other two guys.
I know he's younger, but not by
10 years.
10 years for 11 years for Biden, but
10 years for Trump.
He's 77.
Oh, it's just 7 years.
That's
still a pretty big.
No, it's a big gap. But my point is, can we get someone
Well, his running mate's 38.
Can we just get a Gen Xer? I want someone that.
His running mate's a millennial.
I know. That's why I was happy. I said, "Oh, yay, man!" You know what? Maybe she's just playing the long game. It's okay. I will be president when this man has a heart attack, and I.
Oh God. Okay. But yes.
Yes,
so
I'm pulling.
Apparently, his own supporters were unhappy with her
because she's a little more left than he is.
That might be a reason.
Is it because she's a woman?
I think it's because RFK Jr.'s supporters are such a wide group of people that support him for different reasons. They don't have uniform beliefs. So you have some people that are just disaffected Joe Biden voters.
Fair.
Who are just looking for an alternative.
Not a good alternative, but it's an alternative.
They see her as an okay option, but she is inexperienced in terms of politics, and no one really knows what she's going to do. You have the Trump people who are, the disaffected conservatives who are the never Trumpers, who are going to look at her and be like, she's kind of a lib.
I mean, but if they can vote for Donald Trump, they can vote for her. And it's not even voting for her.
Voting for Donald Trump anymore. They're voting for RFK Jr.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like they voted for a guy who had no experience. At least she like is an attorney, and RFK is the name on the ballot. She's like the secondary.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that RFK Jr. was sort of vetting to be his running mate. I don't have the full list up in front of me, and I don't really want to go through it either.
It's not worth it. We know it's we already know it's Nicole. So like,
yeah, and there's a statement to be made here about getting money out of politics.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be a 5-Minute Friday, at the very least, if not a whole whatever it is.
We shouldn't live in a country where you have to be very independently wealthy or have national name recognition. Shanahan's money comes from her being the ex-wife of the co-founder of Google.
We don't know that. That is an assumption you are making based off the fact that she got divorced from one of the co-founders of.
Put 2 and 2 together, please.
I'm just saying they were married for 5 years. They definitely had a prenup. She's a lawyer. He's a co-founder. He had to. There had to be a.
Right. So.
Oh. That's an interesting fact. Her mother was Chinese.
Yeah, so I mean, she got divorced from the 10th richest person in the world.
Yeah, but prenups exist.
So this is a Distractify article that I just found. That talks about her net worth.
No, you want to know where her money comes from? Founded a paleo outlaw based legal tech company, Clear Access IP, and is the CEO. And she sold it to a competitor. She is independently, like, she made her money.
She's not like her ex-husband wealthy.
No, but she's independently wealthy. And she was a fellow at Stanford Law.
Politico reported that Shanahan sought $1 billion from the divorce.
Okay. What I mean, like, you know what? I don't know why I'm trying to like make
$1 billion.
Yeah, but that's like what like not even like a percentage of like 1% of what his net worth is.
Doesn't matter. It's still a lot of money.
It is wildly a lot of money.
So,
But talking about Google.
While on the topic of Google.
Google is now deleting billions of data records about millions of Chrome users. So this is after a lawsuit that they lost, the fourth one in the last few months. Alphabet not looking that great. So this is all based off the company misleading users by tracking them during the use of incognito mode. So
Anything else for that story?
No, I'm just not like. Are we surprised? No. Are we disappointed? Always.
This feels like just your AT&T story, but just part two.
Just part 2.
Different company doing mess up stuff with their data.
And I really do want to.
This is why we have to hold big tech accountable.
We do have to hold big tech accountable. This is also partially why I want to do a whole whatever it is on data brokerages.
Put it on the list.
It's on the list. And if you guys want any specific things on the list, let us know and comment below. Because we do care about what you guys want to listen to. We're not doing this for ourselves. Okay. So, what is our next section then? That was our last story.
We got updates.
Woo!
So, I'm going to be spending the next few minutes giving you guys updates about what's going on in Gaza. Now, we have not done the best job over here on the show updating you guys on the daily and even weekly goings-on in Gaza.
Partially because we just started doing our updates last week. Or 2 weeks ago. And partially because...
It's taxing on our mental health. Yeah. It's really... absolutely depressing.
We are staying up to date, but sometimes we just don't want to talk about it.
But it's important. It's definitely important. So I have a bunch of updates for you guys. So most of these stories are from this week. So we have Israel is responsible for taking out an Iranian military commander who was stationed in Syria and killing 7 overall in an airstrike. This coincides with worsening conditions for Palestinians and widespread protests of tens of thousands of Israelis in support of removing Benjamin Netanyahu from power and calling for new elections. The death toll in Gaza has surpassed 32,000 confirmed, and another 75,000 people have been injured. Israel has lost 252 Israeli Defense Force soldiers. Now, these dead soldiers and their families are some of the people who are pushing these protests. They're like the cause of the protest. Israeli people don't want to be involved in this anymore. At least a lot of them don't. Tens of thousands of them don't. This is happening just as the U.S. is sending more weapons to Israel as part of an obligation from years ago. So this is an agreement that the United States already had with Israel to send them a certain amount of bombs and weapons. We are fulfilling that obligation despite rocky relationships recently between the U.S. and Israel in terms of the whole ceasefire solution goes. And rhetoric from the Biden administration that would lead you to think that we weren't going to be supporting this anymore publicly. But here we are still sending them money.
Well, if you can let the people believe that you're going to stop something and continue doing it, why wouldn't you try?
And this last one is absolutely unhinged, and you guys should go send this guy hate mail. GOP Representative Tim Walberg suggests that Gaza should be handled like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. This psycho said that.
Oh.
He said basically the equivalent of let's nuke them.
That's not that this is an elected official.
This is an elected official. Look what party he's a part of. This is such an excellent example of the two parties we have here in the United States of America. We have the Republicans who are like, you know what, let's just do a genocide. And we have the Democrats who are like, yeah, maybe not a whole genocide, but we'll still send you some bombs, though.
Yeah, they're like, we aren't going to tell you to do a genocide.
What the fuck?
But we're going to support you as you're doing a genocide.
Make it make sense to me. Yes, this absolute, nut job needs to be removed from office. They should censor him in in the Congress.
Censured.
Yes, that word that you just said.
I was like,
but you should censor him also. Take away his Twitter or something.
not with Elon Musk around.
But yes, absolutely problematic language, problematic way of looking at things. Unhinged psycho behavior.
I wasn't sure why we were sending hate mail. I think I'm okay with us faxing them and being like, bro, why?
Call this guy. Call his phone number. Dana's gonna leave it in the video.
Apparently, I'm gonna find it for you guys.
Call his office. Send him emails. And tell him what an absolute
trash human
piece of shit he is. Yeah.
Are you not gonna talk about the hospital?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. In the same idea, the Israeli military has withdrawn from Gaza's largest hospital, Al-Shifa. This is after a 14-day siege that witnesses and Palestinian officials say has left the building largely destroyed. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna stop that sentence.
It's terrible, but at this point, I'm kind of surprised they still have hospitals.
Not from lack of trying from the Israeli government.
All right.
On a stupid note.
And what is perhaps the most lighthearted story of...
That's why I said on a stupid note.
Is this the most lighthearted story we have tonight?
I
think it is.
Oh my God, we chose some sad... Well, yeah.
Go
We
ahead.
chose some heavy stories this week.
With it. Donnie boy.
Donald Trump decided that he's out here selling Bibles for $60.
As we all know, Donald Trump is a good Christian boy.
And he's selling it with God Bless America singer Lee Greenwood. So like he's partnering up with country artists to be like, hey, you see what Beyonce did?
So $60 Bibles.
$60.
Is his name on there somewhere?
That's what I'm trying to find. This is like in conjunction. I'm saying this is an update because his book. Not his book, his shoes. He does also have a book. But apparently this is his favorite book. And every household should have a Bible. And if you...
So, it's a Bible. It's got like a brown cover. It just says Holy Bible, and then in smaller print underneath of it, it says God Bless the USA. And it's got like a print of like a little waving American flag.
So you can go God Bless the USA Bible.com.
But do not buy one of these things.
Oh, but it has a handwritten chorus to... So this Bible also features a copy of the handwritten chorus to God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood, the U.S. Constitution, ironically enough, the Bill of Rights,
okay,
the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ooh. Well, I'm glad we have...
Oh, it's a King James version.
I mean, those are pretty common.
Well, no, it's just interesting. I like to see which version people choose. It's easy to read, large print for those
visually impaired.
And slim design. This Bible invites you to explore God's word anywhere, anytime.
And it's kind of funny to think about Donald Trump's relationship with the Bible because
he held the one upside down.
Yeah, he was outside the church, which was just across the street from the White House, and he was holding it upside down and waving it around like it's just a prop.
Because it was a prop for him.
It absolutely was just a prop, and he's just a silly guy. Absolute buffoon, real clown behavior. This is coming after the story from a few weeks ago where he was selling shoes, the Donald Trump sneaks. Also unhinged behavior. This man's in so much debt.
He's
going broke. he's really going broke, and he's doing anything he can to make a quick buck.
And just as so none of this money is going to Donald J. Trump's campaign for president. Specifically, it says that it's not going to his presidency campaign. More than likely, it's going to pay off all that debt that he owes the state of New York City.
Yes.
The state of New York City. The state of New York.
These Bibles are making him independently wealthy.
And it's like it's not political. It has nothing to do with the political campaign. God bless the USA Bible.com is not owned, managed, or controlled by Donald J. Trump, the Trump Organization, CSC Ventures LLC, or any of their respective principals or affiliates. They use Donald J. Trump's name, likeness, and image under paid licenses from the CIC. So same situation as the shoes. They're not controlled. They're owned by them, but
this is just a company paying Donald Trump a lot of money to advertise their product.
I mean, for $60, this Bible I better be seeing Jesus myself for $60. And someone's gonna be like, "Well, it has the Constitution." I was like, "Okay, well, the Constitution doesn't cost $60." Silly little man with silly little
hands.
Hands, yeah, that works. Hands. Okay, guys.
That is all of our stories for this week.
We're sorry that it was heavy.
We're sorry that we missed a week.
Again.
But yeah, that's it. I want you guys to have a great rest of your day.